would be a massive injustice if we chose not to motivate you on this beautiful Heritage Day to take on the rest of the week with a positive, determined attitude. Motivational speaker A.B. Mamabulo joins me now in studio to discuss excuses, and he's standing in for Ntlantla Mafarafara. Do join us by sending a WhatsApp text message to 079-295-1212, or you can call us on 015-151-0135. Good evening, Tavela, and how are you?
Good evening, Tavela. Nakiluki.
I'm fine as well. I made Attorney John Mohodo greet the listeners in a language that he preferred, an African language that he preferred. And he was very diplomatic about it, but he did actually greet them in various African languages.
Okay.
But I want to do it differently with you because you're from my home, where I'm also from. You're from Ramamabolo, and your surname is also Mamabolo.
Yes.
So I just want you to, in the next 2 minutes, if you can, just so you know, people know that you understand yourself and where you come from on this Heritage Day, maybe just recite for us your clan praises.
Unfortunately, it's something that I have not yet studied further. But I like
that. Nice and simple. That's pretty good. So what is your African? What's your Bedi name? Maybe we should call you with that today.
I don't have a Bedi name. Yeah, when my parents were naming me, they just named me Ebenezer.
And did you ever ask them why?
No, I didn't.
So what you don't want to find out what their excuse is, why they chose not to give you an African name?
The reason was that my parents are very religious parents. So, and coming from a religious background, you find that there are certain things that, in Christianity, we call them curses. You find that you don't want a speedy name because you are thinking about the curses that you don't want to pass from the generation you are into the next one. So they just said, no, we'll just name our son Ebenezer, because it was sort of like them saying that how far we are, or as Ebenezer says, this is how far the Lord has led us. So they just named me Ebenezer only.
Quite interesting, I must say. What is meant by excuses in tonight's Motivation Monday context?
For me, I consider excuses to be a commitment for you and me to settle for a mediocre life. That for me, it's what excuses is. But another man who defined excuses in a nice way is John Teffer. He said that excuses are the rationalizations of a mistake. Yeah, so to me that is excuses. And for me, I also remember in my life, there are so many instances where I made excuses, whether it was regarding my education, whether it was regarding me pursuing a dream that I had, or even pursuing a girl that I liked. So I always also found myself making those excuses or settling for that mediocre life. So that, to me, that's excuses.
Quite a fitting topic, I must say, Ebenezer, on this very holiday, because, you know, on holidays, people tend to relax a lot and they don't do quite much. And maybe if we were to give it in the context of school children or people who are students and so forth, and you find that a person has a homework or an assignment that they must submit tomorrow, but they postpone and they give excuses to say, no, I'm on holiday. So I think it's quite fitting that we're actually discussing this today. How does one then step out of finding refuge in excuses?
One thing that helped me get out of this thing was a principle that I read from my mentor, John Maxwell. He said that it's what he calls the law of diminishing intents. That law simply states that the longer you take for you to take an action that you should be taking now, the greater the odds that you will never do that particular thing that you are committing to do. So in the same context of schools, you find that you are given a homework or you are given an assignment that you are supposed to do and submit when the holidays end. But you keep on telling yourself that, no, I'll do it tomorrow or I'll do it later. So as a result, the longer you are postponing that thing, now your odds of you not doing it or even forgetting it, so they increase. Therefore, then you end up forgetting.
That's a profound quote. I want you to just please repeat it, because I see there's a listener here who's saying, could you please just repeat that quote one more time?
It's called the law of diminishing intents. And it states that the longer you take before you make an action, the greater the odds that you will never make that action.
We're talking excuses tonight on Motivation Monday with Ebenezer Mamabolo. Do share your thoughts with us by sending a WhatsApp text message to 079 2951212, or you can call us on 015 So I see you have a category of excuses that people tend to sort of find refuge in. There are those people who will say, I am trying, but it's not easy. Could that be an excuse?
Yes, that's an excuse. Because what I also realized in my life was that whenever I never wanted to commit to anything, I would say that I was trying. I was trying to do my homework, or I was trying to do my very best. And it's something that doesn't make any sense, because you are saying that you actually saying that I am trying. You are not actually committing to fulfilling whatever that you are fulfilling. So one thing that helped me was that I ended up changing, or it was my mentor who said that you must remove the word try out of your vocabulary. So I ended up no more using the word. So whenever there was something that I wanted to do, I would always say that I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And even if my friends would ask me that, like, I would like to try that, I would tell them that no. You can't tell me that you are trying, because now what you are saying is that you are not going to commit to this particular thing or this idea that you are committing to. So tell me that you are going to do it, and if you do it, then we agree. So that's also something that helped me.
So declaring that I will do it as opposed to saying I will try to do it is prophetic, you say?
I would say it's psychological, because when you are saying that you are trying, you are leaving room for disappointment, or you are leaving room for not following through. But when you are saying that I am going to do it, it's an action verb, meaning that you are also committing to the action that you are promising yourself or your friend that you will be doing it.
Now, what if one says that they just feel like they cannot? So they're not saying I'm trying, or they're just saying I just feel like I can't do this. I just can't.
That I would say that it's an excuse of your ability, because most of the time you find that whatever thing that you want to do or you are dreaming of doing, you'll find that if you didn't have the ability to do it, you wouldn't have that dream. You wouldn't have a dream of becoming a doctor if you didn't have that ability to be a doctor. So now when you say that I can't do it, it's sort of like you rationalizing the fact that maybe you are even afraid of failure, or you are even doubting yourself and the ability that you have. So I would also suggest that the listeners should the fact that you've got an idea, or the fact that you've got a dream that you are pursuing, that you want to fulfill, it's testimony in itself that you have that capability to do it. So remove that thing of you telling yourself that I can't do it.
So there's a person who says that I can't, and then there's another person who says I'm trying. Before there's that one who says I'm going to do it. Do you advise that one must just jump from I cannot to I can, or do you think that they should also allow themselves to move from saying I cannot to say I'm trying to then saying I can?
I would say that they should jump straight into doing it, because then they are committing. So if they fail when you've committed to doing it, then you know that I made a mistake. Then it means that I tried in that case. So if you are going straight to doing it, then when you fail, or when something happens that's not within your control, then that's when you could say that I tried. So that's a better way for me that I would recommend. Unlike if you are saying that you are moving from I can't, then you are saying that I'm going to try. If you are going to try, you might even not even end up doing it, or even giving it the necessary commitment that you need.
I came across a quote on Twitter, Ebenezer, and I think it was written by South African entrepreneur Vusi Tembekwayo. I'm not too certain if these were the right words, the exact words he used, but it was something like you don't need funding to start a business, for example. And you have a lot of people who are aspiring entrepreneurs, but they're telling you, I need funding, I need mentorship, I need resources, and. What do you make of this quote?
Because I also listened to that talk that Vusi gave at it was the Coca-Cola Dome, I think. And what he meant in that context was that there are certain things that you don't need help in doing. Like for me, I would say that I support what he's saying, that when he says that you don't need any funding to be an entrepreneur, because I saw it with myself. Because there were many instances where I was saying that I'm waiting for funding for me to pursue my dream. And when I was busy looking at the things that I wanted funding for, I realized that those things that I needed funding for, I could be doing them on my own. Let's say, for example, I wanted funding to start the organization that I'm having, Igniting Dreams Within, and you realize that it's not necessarily that I needed funding, because when you ask for funding, what could happen in that you either take a loan or you give up equity of your company. Now, if you are going to give equity for your company for you to match that investor who will be investing in you, you find that you are because now you'll be starting out as an entrepreneur. Your company is practically it's practically has got no value because you've got no assets that you can back up your company to say that the valuation that I'm giving you 10% because maybe you are saying that your company is worth $1 million. Now, because you are just starting out, you find that you can use whatever resources that you've got. If you are saying you want to cook, use the stove that you've got at home. Then, as a result, you don't need funding. Then, from the money that you'll be getting from using the resources that you already have, then you can, after you've used that stove you were using for home, then you can buy yourself another stove that's owned by the business. Then, as you are doing this, then the more you grow, you reinvest the money that you are generating from the business. Then you reinvest it from back into the business. So that's what I think that. From my perspective, because I also put this to the test in my life, because I was thinking that there were certain elements, like when I started investing, I thought that I needed money to invest. But when I researched, I realized that no, I can just invest with $200 or even $100. I can just buy shares. So as a result, I ended up seeing that no, it was the excuses that I needed funding for me to start this type of venture. So I would also recommend or advise the listeners that whatever it is that if you are into business, use the resources that you've got at home. Start with whatever you have, because you can't just start a company with you can't just go and ask for funding for $1 million. You don't know how to manage $1,000. You don't know how to manage $10,000. Now, when you get that million, that's what's going to happen when you want to buy cars, and you realize that you use the money that you were supposed to be investing in the business, you use it for buying luxury lifestyle. So I would recommend that they realize that use the resources that you've got and not depend on anyone for you to start out whatever venture that you want to start out.
Ndlandlama Farafara calls the generation of today as the microwave generation, the generation that wants everything to happen in a split second. Mm-hmm. Do you think that particular mentality could also be contributing towards people wanting funding now, but also wanting just about everything to happen whenever they feel like doing?
Yes, because when I did my research, I realized that what generated this attitude of always wanting things now, it's this issue of social media. Because when you go on social media, you are getting instant gratification. When you post a status, automatically someone, or in a few seconds, someone will be liking that status or commenting on that status. So as a result, then your body gets used to these hormones or these chemicals that are giving you like the hormones that are responsible for you wanting instant gratification. So as a result, then whatever you are doing, then you want it to happen now. When you are going to ask for funding, or when you've got an idea, or when you've got a dream that you are pursuing, you want to succeed now. You no longer want to spend that time waiting or spend that time hustling. So I would say that one of the things that I usually do is that I take some time, what I call detoxifying from social media. What I do is that I will just buy data for business purposes, where I'll be responding to the emails that I'm responding to. But for social media, I wouldn't be going on social media so that I get those hormones that are always there for me when I'm instantly gratified. Then I would also minimize. So yeah, that's what I also recommend.
So you're blocking out hormones.
Yes, because the thing is, well, instant gratification is a result of hormones. Because when you get that hit, when you post a picture or you post a status and someone automatically likes, it's like the hormones are released in your body and you feel good. So the more you get used to that, then that's why you'll find that everything that you'll be doing afterwards, then you want it now. Even though, like that's what's happening with relationships. You find that instead of you taking that time you used to take when you were proposing a girl, it takes some time. You find that you no longer have that patience because you are so used, and your system is so used to always being rewarded very quickly. So I would say that it's one of the things that contributes.
We're talking excuses tonight on Motivation Monday with Ebenezer Mamabulo. Do share your thoughts with us by sending a WhatsApp text message to 07929511212, and you can also call us on 015-151-0135, and we'll continue with this discussion immediately after the break. The time is 12 minutes before 8. It's Conversations on Energy FM 102.1 and Choice FM 101.1. We are talking excuses on Motivation Monday with Ebenezer Mamabulo, who's standing in for Ndlandlama Farafara. Do share your thoughts with us by sending a WhatsApp text message to 079-295-1212, or you can call us on 015-151-0135. And some people who did just that. One here says, I don't agree with Ebenezer. I feel as though social media just needs to be monitored, but it can turn out to be good.
The problem is that you can't monitor social media. because what's happening. That's what's happening even at work. You find that there are rules that are imposed that you shouldn't be socializing in this time. But because you are so used to that instant gratification or those hormones that are active when you're busy there on social media, you end up finding that it's sort of like it's an addiction. Yeah, it's an addiction. And you know that when you are addicted, you might try to rationalize it and say that, no, I'm not addicted. But the reality of the fact is that even you find yourself on the street, you're always checking your phone. When you're at work, you're also always checking your phone. So, yeah, it's something like that.
So you think that people who justify their addiction to social media are making excuses?
You are also making excuses and also not giving yourself the chance to heal. Because if you and I want to heal from whatever that we are addicted to, we must first admit that we are addicted and then look for help. So I would say that it's also an excuse that you are justifying the fact that you are addicted and you are not admitting that you are addicted and you need some time off.
And Anashia Gama says, it's true, Rebecca, you don't need funding to start your businesses. You need your mind and your hands to fund your business.
That's true, because let me give you an example. There was one book that I read, and it said that there was this guy who wanted to buy a suit. And when he wanted to buy that suit, and he went into the shop and he lay by that suit. When he lay by that suit, it was on sale. Let's say, for argument's sake, the suit maybe was 1,500. Then after a week or so, then the prices went back to the original state. And afterwards, then someone said that I wanted a suit. Then the guy who had laid by the suit went back to the store manager and said that, okay, I heard that you wanted this suit because you love the suit. I will sell you this suit for $2,000. Now, what happened was that the guy who had laid by or had a surety from the store manager that they will get the suit for 1,500 ended up getting the suit for $500 and selling it for $2,000. So as a result, the guy made $500. So it's sort of like you had a business or someone had a need that they needed, and you saw an opportunity because of a security or something that you had. Then you ended up making $500 there.
When we spoke about culture and the Constitution of South Africa in the first 30 minutes after the second hour with Anthony John Mohodo, I don't know if you were listening, but he mentioned the issue of saying that he feels as though people in religious settings are not rational. Let's look at the person who's saying that I'm not just sitting, I'm not very lazy, I'm not making excuses, I'm waiting on God.
And that's something that I also made for myself. I said that when I had my dreams or when I wanted to be an author, I was saying that I'm waiting for God or I'm waiting for the right opportunity. I'm waiting for God to open a door for me so that maybe a publisher would approach me and say that I'm going to publish for you the book. Then and one of my friends reminded me that, you know what the Bible says? The Bible says that many are the plans that you've got, but it's God's purpose. Now, if you don't have a plan, how will God then direct what you've got? So you even find that any person who is waiting on God, yes, it's good to wait on God. Pray and say, pray your prayer if you are whatever that it is that you want to achieve. Pray that prayer and then get busy doing it. So that way, whilst you are waiting, you find that you are also creating opportunities for yourself. So then, but if you just sit down and say that, I'm waiting for God. I'm waiting for God to give me a job and you're not applying. Or I'm waiting for a wife and you're not doing anything to better yourself so that you are ready for that particular wife. You find that when the person comes, you are not ready for that person. So as a result, you were just rationalizing the fact that you never wanted to take any action that God can back up, because even the Bible says that faith without works, it's nothing. So I would say that they shouldn't rationalize that also.
So you're saying that one must not abuse their faith?
Yes, don't abuse the faith. Pray, and while you're waiting, be busy doing that whatever it is that you prayed for.
You spoke about how it's mostly relied on one's psychological thinking. Mm-hmm. And let's look at people who are saying that I'm just not ready. So when opportunities are brought to these people to say, can you try this out? Can you try this out? They're just saying, the time is not right. I'm not ready. What do you make about that?
For that, it's also the excuse I also made. When I was presented with I remember the first time I spoke, my friend was the MC of a youth conference, and he said that I'm going to put you on as a motivational speaker for the youth conference. And I said, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this. I can't do it. And what eventually happened was that he eventually put me on the program without even me knowing, because I had told him that I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be the motivational speaker. Then when I heard my name, that there's a motivational speaker called Ebenezer, and I was afraid that I'm not gonna do well, or my message is not going to connect. And what amazed me was that even though to me I wasn't ready, I found myself delivering the message perfectly. And one thing that I would also encourage our listeners, someone who is saying that they are not ready, the thing is, you'll never ever be ready in your life. You'll never be ready for your dreams. Everything is always changing all the time, so you'll never be ready. Whenever you have prepared yourself, even if it's just 1% preparation, immediately get in and jump in for whatever dream that you've got that you want to accomplish. Then you'll find yourself that as you are busy pursuing that dream, you will be finding yourself, you'll be making mistakes, you'll be failing along the way, and that will be you learning. Like, unlike you just sitting and say that, oh no, I'm not ready, you'll find that even tomorrow you'll say, I'm not ready. After 5 years, you'll still be saying, I'm not ready. And even maybe 10 years, you'll still be saying that, no, I'm not ready.
Let's look at those who have what one could term self-doubt. So they just don't think they deserve any good thing in their lives. What do you say about that?
I would say that they need to break free from wherever they got those beliefs from, because that element of self-doubt comes from somewhere. You might find that you grew up in a community or even in a family where no one believed in you, or no one in the family believed in you or believed in themselves. So I would recommend that you associate with people who have got confidence in themselves, or even find yourself a mentor. Because sometimes you find that even though you doubt yourself, the fact, let's say for example, because maybe you have me as your mentor, I would tell you that, no, I believe in you and I know you can do this. And you'll find that you are doing that thing so that you don't disappoint me, and that also works in your benefit. So I would say that try to find a way where you'll change the environment that you've grown up with, or find someone who would believe in you and you will believe in the belief they have in you.
There's a comment here. It says excuses are often a rationalization of doing low-level activities over benefiting activities. They apply in all ways. If you were to take stock of the excuses you made over the past year, you will see how far you could have gone.
Wow, that's very powerful. I agree with him, because even when I looked at myself, when I was making excuses in every area of my field, I found that the excuses that I was making, you'll find that, no, I'm saying that, no, this year I'm not ready to do this. I'm not ready to start a business. Then you end up even wasting time. So I agree with him or her.
Given that very comment that just came through, I get a vibe of saying that it's as though you are somewhat saying to our listeners that they could actually be beauty in one taking a risk. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. There's beauty in taking risk, and I like what one motivational speaker said. Oh, I think it was Lesbound. He said that leap and grow your wings on your way down. So you find that the beauty becomes where you find that the more that you'll be taking those chances or those risks, you'll be putting yourself in places where you can't even rationalize or justify your excuses, and you end up learning, you end up benefiting a lot.
Habits that people can take in and adopt as they try to make themselves better people who do not necessarily always find refuge in making excuses. What are those?
For me, I would recommend what Mel Robbins calls it the 5-second rule, which means that whenever you've got a self-limiting idea that you've got in those upcoming 5 seconds, make sure that you either tell yourself that you are going to do it or you change that idea. So that would be one thing that I would recommend.
In 5 seconds.
In 5 seconds, yeah. Whenever you've got a negative or self-limiting belief or idea that you've got in the upcoming 5 seconds, just change that belief and change whatever that excuse, or stop rationalizing that in the next 5 seconds and make sure that you do it. And according to her, she made some research. I'm just not sure of the facts of that research. Yes.
Let's look at the external factors, because you know how we always keep saying that no man is an island, so you will always live amongst people, and sometimes the excuses might not necessarily come from you but from people around you. For instance, if you're the student who's so focused and you're always at the library, you will have that one friend who just comes and says, but you know, you need to take time off. You can't always be studying. I mean, you've been studying for the longest of times. You can use an hour or two of just chilling and watching series or whatsoever. So that's an excuse that's coming from external factors. How does one deal with that?
I would say that make sure that one of the things that you do, check your friends and make sure that you tell them about the dreams you'll be having. Like when you are studying, tell your friends that yes, there are times where you need to rest, but whenever I'm studying, you can't always be telling me that I need to relax. So I would also say that from those external people that you are getting the excuse from, make sure that the people you surround yourself are people who will not give you the permission to make excuses. So when you do that, when you check the people that you are hanging around, that way those people will even hold you accountable, because when you've got people who are always holding you accountable for you not making excuses, you'll find that they work in your benefit. But if you always have people who are always creating the environment that it's okay to make excuses, or it's okay for you to not pursue your dreams, you end up being comfortable. And as a result, it's what Tony Robbins said, that one day when he was in the army, when he was speaking with the general, he said that the reason that most of the people who are soldiers, after they get out of the army and they are no longer achieving great things, it's because that when they were in the army, their friends or the peer group that they were hanging around with, it was a high performance peer group. Now when you leave that environment, that's when you find that people are making excuses, and as a result, you end up making excuses for your life.
Do you have words of wisdom or a quote that our listeners can take with for the rest of the week?
I will give you a quote from my book, There Are No Secrets to Success. And in the book, I say that the longest route to success is through a shortcut. Because when you make that shortcut, now you're going to need more time. You find that you fell into the hands of a get-rich-quick scheme or even a scam. Then now the time that you could have had made, or the time you could have had spent going through the process, you have lost it. So the longest route to success is through a shortcut.
Ebenezer Mamabulo, thank you so much for your time. How can our listeners find you?
You can find me on Facebook at Ebenezer Mamabulo, Instagram, same handle, or at Twitter at King AB, or on WhatsApp, my number 071-639-7807, or on my website, you can just go to the John Maxwell group, and when you go to the John Maxwell group, you can just search Ebenezer, and then my website will pop in there.
Thank you so much, Ebenezer, and thank you so much. We've learned quite a lot from you, and all the best with everything you do.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
Coming up next on Energy FM is Karabo Batosa, and on our Choice FM is Samantha Tlahisi. And a big thank you goes to my producer, Mami Morasha. From me, Rebecca Matikiri Hlulepala. We meet again tomorrow evening, same time, same place, with more conversations. God willing, happy Heritage Day and good night.
Conversations, Mondays to Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m.